Good morning. This is Rafael Solorzano. It's been a few months since I last uploaded a video. It was on YouTube, and I plan to upload this one as well. Um, Apologies for the for not feeling my best. I have a bit of sore throat. It's 2 weeks now. It's kind of annoying, so I'm kind of short of breath. So I'll make this real brief. I have something in my mind that I want to share with you, and it's not going to be lengthy. A few minutes. And I apologize for reading this because if I don't write it down, I may just lose the order and relevance of the topic. But what is it that I stress the most when someone hires my services or talks to me and wants to ask, why should I hire you instead of hiring a real estate agent? Nothing against real estate agents. There's good, bad, and nasty, as well as attorneys that are good, bad, and lousy. But I'm strictly a real estate trust attorney, and I believe that the first thing that people have to take into account is the approach. You wish to buy property or you wish to sell property in Mexico, you have to get professional advice. Does it help in getting a real estate agent involved in this? Well, it would preferably if you were in the United States or Canada. Am I putting down agents in Mexico by saying this? No, I'm not. I'm just being realistic. A lot of the time, there's agents that have their own ideas that are not necessarily favoring a buyer or a seller. And you're nearsighted or plain stubbornness. I have had many differences with many real estate agents who are either licensed, unlicensed, or under the protection of collective license with a escrow, that is with a broker. And I mean, I don't know if it's purposely done or it's sheer ignorance that they are so stubborn in using offers to purchase and disguise them or confuse them for purchase agreements. And there's a lot of features in it. I'm not going to go deep into it. So again, the approach is you have to start out a little slow, okay? Don't go full into, as I call it, a hot cauldron or a scalding bath. You have to take your approach. You have to spend the time. You have to get the advice. And so haste should not be part of it. If you're acting in such a way that it has to happen this way, you know what? I had a number of cases in which I resented having accepted the case because my client would not listen, because my client was in such a haste of buying, particularly buyers, that they committed mistakes and then they entered agreements that are just one-sided favoring the seller. And what I tried to correct is the seller, particularly developers and pre-sale cases, they won't allow me to change that. They don't want it because of their own reasons, because it favors them. It doesn't favor the buyer. There's no balance. So they're not going to lose their control. So case cannot be a part of it. People say that you cannot buy property in Mexico directly if you're a foreign national. Well, that is questionable, because depending on where you buy property or how you buy property, you can buy property regardless of how you feel about it. You either buy under a trust if you're within 50 kilometers from the borders or 100 kilometers from the coasts, and you can buy in the mainland with as a Mexican national would. You can create a corporation, a foreign-owned corporation, to become the owner of the assets. It's no longer a property; it's CPU as an asset. But there's a lot that you lose when you create a corporation. Also, you can or you can have your foreign company purchase property in Mexico. But again, as with the Mexican company, you lose a lot of benefits. You lose a lot of money if you ever sell property at a rate of 25 to 35% on capital gains taxes. The same happens if you put the company or you have a U.S. trust um, own the Mexican trust. When you do that, it's the same thing as having a corporation own the assets. When you sell the property, you will be taxed 25 to 35%. And let's not even discuss ejidos. You don't want to get into ejidos. Not ever. Dump the idea. The other thing is, uh, do you absolutely need an agent to sell your property? Well, there's such a thing as for sale by owner. I represent a number of sellers. I advise them in how to qualify for capital gains tax exemptions, which today net run $281,000 savings per owner. Consider that the sellers are all on the deed. If you have one owner and you bought the property for, say, $400,000, but you only have an exemption of $282,000, you will be taxed for the difference. But if you have more than one owner in the deed, you add $282,000 times the number of co-owners. If and when they do have legal status in Mexico, meaning a temporary or permanent resident visa or naturalization, if they have a tax ID number from Mexico and they had it for better than 6 months, and if they have utility bills matching their address in Mexico, among a number of other conditions and limitations. So, yes, you can buy property in Mexico, and yes, you get a number of advantages. But going back to the topic for sale by owner, I take care of what advising the seller of putting together an offer to purchase, which, keep in mind, is not to be confused with a purchase agreement. An offer to purchase is merely a letter of understanding from which the parties can withdraw with no consequence. So if you propose an offer to purchase with upfront money, earnest money, and it includes a number of topics such as non-refundable deposit. And pull away, don't sign that. It's illegal. It's not proper. It's not going to help. It's rigged. It's one-sided, and it's only benefiting one of the parties. And it should not be considered a purchase agreement. I have had agents. That is embarrassing to call yourself an agent and call an offer to purchase a purchase agreement, and to have an offer to purchase signed and consider that a fully executed purchase agreement. You know, you're just fooling yourselves. Don't try to fool consumers, okay? Don't do that. You know who you are. So, anyways, there's the benefit that in doing that, and with all respect to agents, but if you retain my services to handle and advise the sale of the property, I'm not going to put it in on an MLS listing. I cannot access that. You have to post it and advertise it in as many forums and options that you have. But not in my understanding, you can post it on or advertise that on an MLS listing because you need an agent. Okay, so make sure that. In saving the 8 to 10% commission that you're paying in Cabo and other parts of Mexico, yes, you're giving away some benefits. So you have to do a lot of advertising to sell the property, to find a buyer. And yes, I take care of the offer to purchase, the purchase agreement, coordinate escrow, coordinate the parties, the bank, the notary public, the appraiser, the surveyor, etc. I coordinate everything. I just don't represent two parties. I just represent one. Okay, either the buyer or the seller. I don't invite conflict of interest. So yes, I can save considerable money to a seller if the seller complies and meets all the conditions required for capital gains tax exemptions, which again today is around $281,000 to $283,000 per registered owner. And news for 2025 And yes, it's Monday, January 13th. There's every year the federal government of Mexico increases the cost of the permit to create a brand new trust. It is currently 20,680 something something like that. It's on 20,860. I'll later confirm that on Baja Legal Advice. So be prepared for that. Another bit of news. The a number of cities in Mexico have started this trend of increasing a particular tax. It's called property acquisition tax, or ISAI or ISABI. ISAI is ISAI. And it means Impuesto sobre Adquisición de Inmuebles. The city of Rosarito increased those costs from 2.4% tax to almost 5%. So careful with that. Tijuana is one of the most expensive cities in Mexico, and so is Ensenada. And now, just recently, I read that the Los Cabos municipality has increased from 2.4 to 3%, which is much more manageable. But it's whoever is buying property, purchasing property, be prepared to pay extra in your property acquisition tax, which is a one-time fee that you pay. And just the fee for the permit is 20,860 pesos. If I do a lot of business with Banbajio and in different parts of Mexico, along with other banks, I find Banbajio very easy to deal with. Little bureaucracy. They respond quickly most of the time, depending on the part of the year. This is just getting started on 2025, so there's some sluggishness in every part of Mexico, and the banks is not an exemption. But Banbajio will, if you retain their services to be the trust bank for a new trust, and you will be required to pay a permit to create the trust for 50 years for you and your family. Again, the cost is 20,860, but every other bank provides. They don't directly file the permit in your name. They use a firm. They use firms, outsiders, third parties that charge anywhere from 4,000 pesos to on up. And I really don't know what is the extreme of this, but it's usually $4,000 pesos that they charge extra. Now, starting from that point on, Banbajio will not charge you a dime. Okay, and the other thing is that every time a foreign national purchases property in Mexico or creates a corporation, they have to register with the what we call the Foreign Investment Commission. The Foreign Investment Commission needs a report that has to be filed there, and if you're buying property or transferring property, it has to be updated. Banbajio will not charge a dime, where I've seen other banks charge anywhere from $4,000 to $400 in updating the record with the Foreign Investment Commission. So be careful with that. Be careful when choosing banks. Besides, I had the fortune of having quotes from Banbajio where they committed not to ever increase their fees. Okay, and it's usually around $450 plus 16% value-added tax, whereas other banks are charging upwards of $1,650 after a number of years, and it's a feeding frenzy that you want to stop. Eventually, a number of people have retained my services to put a stop to that and replace banks and transfer the fideicomiso to another bank with a fresh new 50-year term, and also at a much lesser cost, and with the commitment in writing that the bank will not recharge more than $450 plus value-added tax. So, and lastly, don't buy pre-sale property. Don't buy pre-sale property. There's so many, absolute, incredibly, such a huge number of people that have been scammed out of their money, particularly in Cabo and Tulum and Merida and some places in the Mayan coast. And they're all at the mercy of the seller. The seller has a stack deck against you. They rarely accept escrow unless it's for the payment of the balance when they have you put up considerable money as a down payment for you to finance the construction. But if the construction hits a snag or the permits to have the condominium property regime are going to take a long time. They will put you in possession, but you become a possessor only, okay? And then the developer's liability become your own. So listen to me. Don't buy pre-sale property. You're only damaging yourself. So after saying that, those are the topics. I don't know how soon will I be coming back and creating another video. But if you have questions, go into my website, www.bajalegaladvice.com, or my legal blog on Facebook, Baja Legal Advice, where you have better than 3,000 articles, freely accessible database with topics regarding real estate and contracts. And look me up, ask me questions. I don't always charge a fee for simple questions. And yes, I still have this offer for you to contact me and send a request for a 30-minute free consultation. Go and check me out on BajaLegalAdvice.com, on Baja Legal Advice on Facebook, or this video on YouTube. Great start of the year to you all, and give me a call. Bye now.